Welcome everyone back to my train room. I'm Steve and this is Combat Trains of World War II. I'm going to give you a quote from a famous movie line. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. Yeah, we know what movie that was from, The Wizard of Oz. But what would you say if we just omitted lions and bears? What would it be? You got it. Tigers, oh my, the Tiger tank. What we're going to talk about today is the Tiger tanks that the Allies and Russia faced in World War II. So, without further ado, strap on your backpack, don your helmet, and grab your weapon and follow me as we head into our next mission. All right, and we're back. Okay, we'll do as we always do. A little bit of a roll call here. Ryan?
Here.
I'm here. Joe? It's a new year. You better be here. Okay, so the story is the Tiger I. It's one of Hitler's super weapons that he had for World War II. So what we're going to be talking about is the history of it and what the Allies and Russians faced in World War II. Okay, the story of the Panzer VI, the Tiger I. Probably the most famous tank of World War II. Germany needed to step up their development of a heavy tank. Since encountering Allied heavy tanks, the British Matilda II and the French Char B1 during May 1940. But what really got their heavy tank production moving ahead was during the summer of 1941, Operation Barbarossa, invasion of Russia. They came across Russian T-34 medium and KV heavy tanks. The heaviest tank that the Germans had at this time was the Panzer IV, which was outperformed and outgunned. Hitler was adamant about mounting the 88 anti-aircraft gun on some kind of a tank chassis, whereas the weapons department opted for a smaller 6 centimeter or 7 centimeter bore gun. This disagreement led to two separate heavy tank prototypes. So the weapons department gave the first contract to the Henschel firm, which wanted the vehicle to weigh between 36 and 40 tons and mount a 6 centimeter or 7 centimeter gun. The second contract went to the Porsche company to produce a 45-ton tank that mounted an 88 millimeter gun. Again, a requirement by Hitler. Then the German army awarded Henschel the heavy tank contract, mounting the same 88 gun. So Porsche and Henschel were in competition with each other. The Henschel model performed slightly better than the Porsche. The contract contained a total number of 1,500 tanks to be built. But even before the trials took place, Porsche had a contract to deliver 90 vehicles of their version. So the German War Department were left with 90 Porsche chassis. Then the firm was ordered to complete them as platforms for the Elephant, a heavy tank destroyer. The Tiger I tank production started in early 1942 and lasted until the middle of 1944, with a total of 1,354 units produced. So the Tiger I was operated by a 5-man crew and weighed 56 tons and mounted that huge, powerful 88 millimeter gun, and was protected by 3.9 inches of frontal armor and 3.2 inches side and rear armor. The Tiger tank first entered the war in August of 1942. Now remember, the prototype was only completed April of that year. Hitler ordered the 1st Heavy Tank Battalion to the Eastern Front towards Leningrad, which only contained 4 Tiger I tanks. So without sufficient testing and trials, the newly rushed out version of this tank performed miserably. And again, in December of 1942, Hitler ordered a tank battalion consisting of Tiger I's only at half strength towards Stalingrad. The Western Allies saw their first Tiger I in North Africa, Tunisia, December 1942. The British captured their first intact Tiger I on February 1st, 1943. Even in the Italy campaign, the Tiger I performed poorly due to mechanical unreliability. Hitler's insistence to get this new tank in battle without sufficient testing showed why this tank and its early version was a disaster. Out of all the Allied troops in Normandy, the British troops faced nearly all the tigers. Hence, the fear of tigerphobia came about. This fear was exaggerated by the Allied troops performing sightings of Tiger tanks all over the front. But in reality, only 90 Tiger I tanks were present at any given moment. The sightings were actually the silhouettes of Panzer IVs, which looked similar to the Tiger. So at the end of the Normandy campaign, the 102 SS Battalion, despite losing all its Tigers, claimed to have destroyed 227 Allied tanks. On the Eastern Front, during 1943-44, the Tiger I was also stacking up numbers of wins against the Russians. However, by mid-1944, it was being outclassed by the Soviet JS-2 tanks. By the end of 1944, the Tiger I tank was a rare sight. The last month of the war, Tiger tanks that were used for training in schools, both on the Eastern and Western Front, were deployed in its clear, and very few operational Tigers remained during the last few weeks of the war. To this date, there are about 8 Tiger tanks on display, and only one that is still running. If you watch the movie Fury, you saw that Tiger during its battle against Brad Pitt. So that completes the story of the Tiger I tank, a Hitler's doomed superweapon. So, with that, until next time, carry on.